A vast mountain range is wrapped in thick fog, barely visible through the dense mist. The hum of a search helicopter grows louder as it cuts through the eerie stillness. Imagine yourself on a remote mountain, isolated and engulfed in a blanket of fog so thick you can barely see a few feet in front of you. This isn't just any mountain, this is a place where nature commands attention, where the air is crisp but unpredictable. It's a land known for its treacherous terrain and sudden shifts in weather. And now, it's the site of a frantic search. The helicopter swoops low over jagged cliffs, the mist swirling in its wake. The storm had hit without warning, violent, merciless. What was meant to be a simple hiking expedition had quickly transformed into a race against time. 2 hikers from Tokyo had set out just a day before, eager for adventure, but now they were missing, lost somewhere in this vast, unforgiving wilderness. Their last known location? A peak notorious for its difficulty, especially in the kind of conditions that had since swallowed them whole. Cut to a shot of a local ranger standing at the base of the mountain, scanning the horizon. Locals had warned them. The mountain was not to be underestimated. But like many who come to challenge nature, the allure of reaching the summit often overpowers reason. And now, with no word from the hikers in over 24 hours, fears were growing. Could they have found shelter? Or had the mountain claimed yet another victim? Cut to flashback scenes of the hikers setting off, excited, unaware of the brewing storm. Perhaps it started like any other hike, spirits high, gear packed, and eyes fixed on the horizon. The terrain, at first, would have seemed manageable. But the mountain has a way of luring you in, of giving you just enough hope before it tests your limits. And when that storm hit, it hit hard. A flash of lightning in the background illuminates the craggy peaks. The storm wasn't just a downpour. It was relentless. Torrential rain, howling winds, and temperatures that plummeted as the hours dragged on. For anyone caught unprepared, it was a deadly mix. And while the hikers were experienced, no amount of training could have fully prepared them for what was coming. The helicopter's searchlight flickers as it scans the mountainside. Search and rescue teams were deployed at first light. Helicopters scoured the area, fighting the fog and the fading daylight. On the ground, teams of rangers combed the trails, calling out in hopes of hearing even the faintest response. But the clock was ticking, and with every passing hour, the chance of survival in such harsh conditions grew slimmer. Cut to an overhead shot of the rugged, fog-enshrouded terrain. The mountain was vast, stretching out in every direction like a maze of rock and ice. And the fog, thick, unyielding, turned it into a near-impenetrable fortress. For those trying to find the missing hikers, it was like searching for a needle in a haystack. But they couldn't give up. They knew that, out there, 2 people were fighting for their lives. A brief, tense silence follows before cutting to a group of rescuers discussing strategy. In situations like these, hope becomes your most valuable resource. Hope that they found a cave or a crevice to shield themselves from the worst of the storm. Hope that they had enough supplies to last through the night. And hope that, despite the odds, they were still alive. The search intensifies as ground crews navigate treacherous paths and the helicopter flies lower. Search efforts focused on the last known location near the summit, a place few dare to venture. It's steep, rugged, and in the wake of the storm, dangerously unstable. Every step was a risk. Loose rocks, slippery surfaces, and the constant threat of avalanches made the rescue mission perilous not just for the hikers, but for the rescuers as well. A rescuer's voice crackles over the radio, still no sign. The fog begins to lift ever so slightly. But this isn't just about the search. It's about what it takes to survive in conditions like these. When you're out there, exposed to the elements with nothing but your instincts and the gear you've packed, every decision counts. Should you keep moving, or find shelter and stay put? Do you conserve energy, or push forward, knowing that stopping might mean never getting up again? Flashback to the hikers as they climb, the sky darkening overhead. We may never know what decisions the hikers made in those critical moments. But one thing is certain, they were in the fight of their lives. Cut to a close-up of a map showing the mountain and search grid. As the search drags into its second day, conditions remain harsh. The fog has only slightly lifted, and while the worst of the storm has passed, the threat of more bad weather looms. Rescuers know they have limited time. Each delay, each hour lost, reduces the chances of finding the hikers alive. A scene of rescuers resting momentarily, staring up at the mountain. Yet there's something about the human spirit that refuses to give up, even in the face of overwhelming odds. As the rescuers push on, driven by the hope of a miracle, we're reminded of the raw, uncountable power of nature and the courage it takes to stand against it. Cut to an aerial shot of the mountain as the helicopter circles back, the fog finally beginning to clear. The mountain still holds its secrets, and the hikers remain out there somewhere, waiting. Whether or not they'll be found in time, no one can say. But one thing is certain, nature is both beautiful and brutal, a force that can inspire or one moment and fear the next. And for anyone who dares to challenge it, the line between adventure and survival can be dangerously thin. Final shot, the helicopter flying off into the distance as the mountain looms beneath, quiet and ominous. For now, the search continues. And as the sun sets behind the fog-covered peaks, hope still lingers in the hearts of those who refuse to stop searching. The screen fades to black, with the sound of wind howling softly in the background.